Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we are jumping straight into the deep end with the mythology of K-pop demon hunters.
Yeah, the lore in the show is surprisingly dense. It's great stuff.
It really is. And our mission today, well, we're focusing just on the show transcript itself and some really helpful notes we got on Korean folklore. We want to decode Huntrix.
You mean Rumi, Mira, and Zoe.
Exactly. Figure out how they connect, or, well, if they connect, to these, like, fundamental protectors in Korean mythology.
Ah, right. And what's immediately obvious, I think, is how much the show leans on the traditional idea of the four guardians, the sasang or sasan in Korean.
More symbols, yeah.
These big mythological figures, the dragon, the tiger, the tortoise, and the phoenix. They're like cosmic anchors, mapping out directions, seasons, elements, the works.
Okay, hold on. Let's zero in on that right away. Because this is the big, provocative question for this whole deep dive, isn't it? It's right there at the group's structure.
Definitely stands out.
If the whole spiritual foundation, the blueprint for protection, is built around four guardians, why is Huntrix, the demon hunter group, always, consistently, just 3 members?
It's a glaring mismatch, isn't it? A trio doing a job that seems fundamentally designed for 4.
Yeah. It feels like a massive signal from the writers.
Oh, absolutely intentional. That missing 4th member, that missing cornerstone, it has to represent something huge. Either, a tragic weakness in their setup, or maybe a big piece of the story that hasn't fully unfolded yet.
And the demons, King Gwaima and his crew, they seem to be exploiting that exact gap.
It seems like it. That incompleteness feels like the core vulnerability.
So our job today isn't just, okay, Rumi is this, Mira is that. It's bigger. We need to confirm the links for the 3 we have, based on the evidence.
Right, match them to the known guardians.
And then use the pattern, the missing direction, the missing element, whatever, to figure out who or what that missing 4th guardian represents in this story.
That's the mission. Decoding the trio to find the ghost of the 4th.
All right, so before we start matching symbols like detective work, let's just quickly set the stage. We need to remember what's actually at stake here. Celine, the mentor figure, she really lays it out early on.
Yeah, she does. She emphasizes that Huntrix is always chosen as a trio. Every generation, just 3.
And their job isn't just, kicking demon butt, but they do that too.
Not at all. Their main duty is actually constructive. It's about magic, creating the golden Hanmoon.
Which isn't just a wall, right? It's something more.
Much more. Think of it as this huge metaphysical shield, like a seal between worlds, and it's powered, quite literally, by their voices, by the hope and courage in their songs.
Wow, okay, so K-pop performance is actual defensive magic here.
Exactly. The goal of the Hanmoon is pretty absolute. Keep King Gwaima and all the other demons locked out of the human world. For good.
But the stakes are super high right from the get-go because, as the transcript shows, that Hanmoon is failing. It's getting weaker, developing these weak spots.
Yeah, it's visibly crumbling.
And I love this part. It's not because demons are literally banging on the door. It's way more modern. It's a battle for fans.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It uses the whole K-pop fandom phenomenon, the Hallyu wave, as the actual mechanism for the magic.
So how does that work, metaphysically?
Well, the Golden Hanmoon runs on the collective energy of the fans. Their hearts and minds, as the show puts it. All that joy, hope, excitement directed at Huntrix. That's the fuel.
Okay, makes sense.
But then you have the Saja Boys, the demon boy band. They're basically musical vampires, siphoning off that exact energy.
Huh. Just by being popular. Their song Soda Pop is annoyingly catchy, I'll give them that.
It seems to be about where the fans focus their emotional energy. If the fans, who are like these little power generators, start directing all their adoration, their passion towards the Saja Boys...
They're effectively pulling the plug on the Hanmoon.
Pretty much. They're withdrawing the fuel. And the Saja Boys themselves, their name Saja means like a Grim Reaper or a messenger from the underworld.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah, so they're actively turning that positive fan energy, that sort of hopeful yang energy, into something negative, or at least diverting it so Huntrix can't use it for the shield. It's basically spiritual warfare fought with streaming numbers and fan chants.
That puts a whole new weight on their comeback stages, doesn't it? Okay, so with those stakes in mind, let's quickly profile the Huntrix members again. Their roles, talents, and, crucially, their internal struggles. That's key to matching them later.
Right. First up, Rumi. She's presented as pop royalty, basically. Incredible voice, linked to the previous generation's Sunlight Sisters through her mother.
She's central. But she has that huge secret, the demon father.
Exactly. And it's not just a backstory thing. It manifests physically as those fierce tiger-like patterns on her face when her powers flare up.
Which she hates. She spends so much time trying to get rid of them. It's like her main internal conflict.
It absolutely is. It's shame writ large on her face. Then you have Mira.
The visual, the lead dancer, she seems more grounded, pragmatic.
Yeah, and aggressive. Calls herself the black sheep of her family. Known for really powerful, sharp dance moves, a strong stage presence, very protective of the group's image, very by the book.
Okay. And the third?
Zoe, the rapper, the lyricist. She's the Maknae the youngest.
Right, the one who grew up in the U.S. in Burbank.
Yep. Her raps apparently go hard, get real scary, but her personality seems more eager to please, supportive of the others.
But her power is huge, right? The transcript mentions a massive, powerful stream of energy.
Yeah, surprisingly potent for the youngest. Almost like raw, untamed force sometimes.
Okay, so this mixed pop royalty with a dark secret, the aggressive dancer, the young rapper with massive power, this is our trio.
That's them.
To figure out which cosmic guardian fits who, we really need to dig into the mythology itself. What are these four guardians actually about?
Okay, so to really get K-pop Demon Hunters, you kind of have to understand the foundation it's built on, which is this big cosmological idea of the four symbols, sasang or sasin in Korean. It draws a lot from the broader sinosphere framework.
Right, so these aren't just cool monsters. They're more fundamental than that.
Way more fundamental. They're basically the four pillars holding up the symbolic universe. They represent the cardinal directions, the seasons, even colors, and the classical elements. They map everything out.
And this is where it gets really interesting for Huntrix, because these guardians are tied into the wuxing, right? The five phases system from Chinese philosophy.
Exactly. Which means each guardian has an element. Wood, fire, metal, water. There's a fifth element, earth, usually associated with the center, but the directional guardians are these four.
And those elements interact. Like, wood feeds fire, fire creates earth, ash, earth bears metal, metal carries water, water nourishes wood. But they also control each other. Water douses fire, fire melts, metal chops wood, wood parts earth, earth absorbs water.
Precisely. It's a system of balance and control. So if one guardian, one element is missing,
The whole system is out of whack, imbalanced, vulnerable.
you got it. That's why the 3 out of 4 problem for Huntrix is so significant. Let's break down the 4 pillars then, what they rule, what their element is. This is basically the blueprint for Huntrix's cosmic job description.
Lay it out for us. Who's who in the cosmic zoo?
Okay, let's start in the east. That's the Azure Dragon. In Korean, Shangryong
Blue-green dragon. Got it.
represents the east, obviously. Also spring, the dawn, new beginnings. Its element is wood.
Wood. Okay, what does wood represent here? Like trees?
Think growth, vitality, pushing upwards, initiation. It's considered yin-yang, energy active, assertive, starting the cycle. Some sources, like that Guardian Taekwondo text you mentioned, call the dragon the cloud master. Think power, storms, creation.
Makes sense. And didn't you say these symbols were on old war flags?
Yeah, the Book of Rites mentions them as heraldic symbols.
Oh.
The dragon guarded the left flank of an army, shows how ancient their role as protectors is, military and spiritual.
Okay, east is wood dragon. Next.
Moving south, this is the potentially missing one. The vermilion bird, or sometimes the red phoenix. Jujak in Korean. South, summer, midday, heat. Makes sense.
Its color is red, and its element is fire. This is the absolute height of yang energy. Passionate, bright, potentially volatile.
In its specific job.
The Guardian texts are pretty clear. Fire control, managing that intense energy. The Phoenix is also all about transformation, purification, rebirth from ashes.
Okay, the absence of fire control is already feeling very relevant to a show about K-pop idols dealing with inner demons.
Right. It really resonates. Okay, third, moving west, we have the white tiger, Baeko?
West, autumn, dusk, things winding down, getting sharper maybe.
Exactly. Its color is white, element is metal. Metal is about sharpness, yes, but also structure, contraction, righteousness, and military strength. Think harvest time, but also battle readiness.
So, the warrior of the group.
Definitely the fiercest defender. The texts call it the wind leader. Suggests speed, precision, cutting force. This is the protector in its most martial form. Guarded the right flank.
Metal tiger, west, got it. Leaving north. North. That belongs to the black tortoise, sometimes called the black warrior, Hayanamu in Korean. Can also be depicted as a tortoise intertwined with a snake.
Ooh, complex. North, winter, midnight, dark and cold.
Represents the peak of yin energy. Deep, defensive, enduring. Its color is black. Element is water.
Water, flexible, deep, but powerful too.
Exactly. Water finds its level. It can wear down stone. It reflects. The tortoise is the rainmaster, symbolizing longevity, stability, wisdom, and deep defense. That snake element adds a layer of maybe flexibility or strategy within that defense.
Okay. Wood dragon east, fire phoenix south, metal tiger west, water tortoise north. 4 elements, 4 directions, 4 seasons. A complete system.
In theory.
Right. So now we have the mythological cheat sheet. Let's apply it to Huntrix, Rumi, Mira, Zoe, who matches who, and let's really push on these connections, see if they fully hold up.
All right, let's do it. And yeah, questioning the matches is good. They're modern characters, K-pop idols, not ancient myths walking around. The symbolism should fit, but maybe with some interesting friction, especially with that missing fire element throwing things off balance.
Okay, let's start with Rumi. The connection to the white tiger, Baiko, seems almost too obvious, right? The show calls her the fiercest defender. She literally gets tiger-like patterns on her face. Case closed.
It seems like a slam dunk on the surface. The tiger is west, autumn, metal. It's the fiercest guardian, the warrior. Her weapon is even a sword, which fits perfectly with the metal element.
But here's my question. If she's the white tiger, the ultimate warrior symbol, why is she so deeply ashamed of the tiger patterns? Why does she want to erase the very thing that marks her as this guardian? Shouldn't the tiger embrace its ferocity?
That's where the nuance comes in. Remember the metal element. It's strong, sharp, precise, yes, like a sword. But metal can also be rigid, it can be cold, and crucially, in the wuxing cycle, fire melts metal.
Okay, so how does that connect to Rumi's shame?
Her shame is the fire. Her demon heritage, the thing causing the patterns, she experiences it as this internal destructive fire of guilt and otherness. Metal is also associated with contraction, with drawing inward. Rumi is trying to contract away from her own nature to cut off the part of her she hates.
So the tiger warrior is fighting herself. The metal is trying to resist being melted by this internal fire of shame.
Exactly. She embodies the fierceness, the aggression, the warrior aspect of the tiger. Her drive is immense, but it's turned inward into a fight against her own lineage, her own power source. It's a wounded, conflicted tiger reflecting that sharp, contracting, but potentially brittle nature of metal when faced with uncontrolled fire. That internal battle is her character arc, and it resonates perfectly with a metal guardian struggling in a system missing fire control.
Okay, that adds a lot of depth to Rumi. What about Mira? You suggested she links to the black tortoise, Hyanmu, north, water, defense.
Yeah, this one feels maybe a bit more straightforward, but still interesting. Mira is the lead dancer, the visual, but her core function seems to be stability and protection. She's the rule follower, one trying to hold things together.
That fits the tortoise stability, longevity, defense. And the show flat out gives her defensive powers. Her outfits are even described as shield-like.
Right. The symbolism is pretty direct there. The water element fits too. She's adaptable in her movements, but ultimately provides that deep, stable defense.
But what about the weird part of the myth? The tortoise intertwined with the snake. How does Mira, the dancer, embody that?
I think it's in her style of defense. She's the lead dancer, right? Her powers aren't just about standing still like a wall. The transcript mentions her body twisting and wrapping when she uses her powers.
Like a serpent coiling.
Exactly. It suggests her defense isn't just passive, it's active, flexible, maybe even constricting, like a snake. It combines the immovable shell of the tortoise with the agile, entangling nature of the serpent. That's complex defense, strategic defense, which fits the water element in the north, deep, strategic, maybe a bit hidden.
And she called herself the black sheep, which kind of fits the dark, northern, wintry vibe too, like overlooked but essential.
Yeah, she's the anchor. Maybe not the flashiest, but the one providing the essential foundation, the deep defense. The tortoise fits her role and her powers really well.
Okay, 2 down. That leaves Zoe, the youngest, the rapper, for the Azure Dragon, Cheongryam. East, wood, spring, new growth. This one feels counterintuitive.
How so?
Well, the dragon is usually seen as the most powerful, right? The leader figure, the cloud master. But Zoe is the maknae. She seems supportive, maybe a bit follower-ish sometimes, eager to please. Why would the youngest get the top-tier guardian?
I think it's about the type of power the dragon represents. Wood energy isn't necessarily about being the boss. It's about initiation, raw potential, vigorous growth. Think of the sheer power of spring bursting forth.
Okay, raw potential.
And look at Zoe's power manifestation. a massive, powerful stream of energy. It's described as overwhelming, almost uncontrollable sometimes. That sounds like the raw, creative, sometimes chaotic power of the dragon's breath, or the energy needed to summon clouds and storms.
So it's not about leadership, it's about raw elemental force.
I think so. She provides the raw energy. And she's the lyricist, the rapper. Her power flows through her words. The wood in the wuxing is linked to planning, to the creative impulse. Her lyrics could be seen as the seeds, the blueprint for their magical songs.
Huh. So her supportive role actually fits the wood element nurturing growth, providing the initial spark.
Exactly, that youthful, burgeoning energy of spring. She might not be the strategist like Mira, water tortoise, or the fierce fighter like Rumi, metal tiger, but she's the source of the raw power, the initiating force that they shape. The dragon as the wellspring of energy, rather than just the king. It fits surprisingly well.
Okay, let's take stock. We've got Rumi, pretty convincingly matched with the White Tiger West, metal, fierce but conflicted warrior.
Check.
We have Mira as the Black Tortoise North, water, the stable strategic defender using serpent-like agility.
Check.
And Zoe as the Azure Dragon East, wood, the source of massive, raw, creative energy, the initiator.
Check. So 3 guardians down, 3 cardinal directions covered, 3 elements represented.
Which leaves one massive gaping hole in the cosmic map.
The south, and the element of fire.
And the guardian, the vermilion bird, the red phoenix, 2 jackets. Just missing from Huntrix.
Completely absent, which means the whole system is fundamentally broken. They're operating at, what, 75% capacity? Probably less, because the elements need to work together.
Right. If the Golden Hanmoon is supposed to be this perfect ultimate shield, it needs all 4 compass points locked down. It needs the balance of wood, fire, metal, and water. Without the south, without fire, it's inherently flawed. The Guardian texts say the Phoenix provides fire control. They don't have fire control.
Which brings us back to the core mystery. Why? Why leave out the Phoenix? If the writers were so careful matching the other 3, this absence has to be deliberate. It's not just an oversight.
So what are the possibilities? Possibility 1. There's a secret 4th member coming later in the show.
Maybe, but the threat feels immediate. The Hanmoon is weakening now. Waiting for a 4th member seems narratively slow, risky.
Okay. Possibility 2. One of the existing 3 secretly holds the Phoenix power, but it's dormant or broken.
That's more interesting. But fire. Fire is passion, transformation, visibility. It's hard to imagine it staying hidden or dormant easily. It tends to burst out, especially if it's uncontrolled.
Which leads us strongly towards a 3rd idea. The Phoenix energy isn't missing. It's just somewhere else. Or maybe it's been corrupted, used by the enemy.
That feels like it fits the drama. Let's look at the main antagonist pulling the strings, Jinyu.
Right. The producer behind the Saja Boys, the demon boy band, draining the Hanmoon's energy.
Okay, first clue. The Saja Boys themselves, the messengers from the underworld. They're the direct opposite of the Sassin, the protectors. And what are they manipulating? Fan energy, passion, desire, hope twisted into obsession.
That sounds fiery, emotionally intense.
Exactly. It's the dark side of passion, uncontrolled emotional energy used for destruction. That's the negative potential of the fire element.
And Jinyu himself, his backstory is key, isn't it? Something about music, a baipa, and massive guilt.
Yeah, 400 years ago, some tragedy involving his family, his failure to protect them. King Guima tempted him by promising to erase his shame, his memories. Jinyu is driven by this immense, unresolved, burning guilt and despair.
Uncontrolled emotion again. Guilt, despair, shame. These are intense, consuming feelings, like fire.
Malignant fire, you could say. The South, ruled by the Phoenix, represents the peak of yang energy. The midday sun, intense passion. Jinyu seems to embody that energy, but totally corrupted. He uses music, which should be creative fire, not for hope like Huntrix, but to amplify despair and feed his demon master.
Okay, this is connecting. Now think about the elemental cycle again. Fire controls or melts metal.
And who is our metal guardian?
Rumi.
The White Tiger.
Sharp, controlled, but terrified of her own inner fire, the shame of her demon blood.
Exactly. The core conflict in the show, arguably, is Rumi, metal, struggling against her own nature, which she perceives as this shameful fire. And Jinyu, the embodiment of corrupted fire, is constantly poking at that exact vulnerability.
So the reason the Phoenix position is empty within Huntrix is because the system, as it stands, has no way to handle fire, no fire control.
That's what it looks like. They have aggression, tiger metal, defense, tortoise water, and creation, dragonwood. But they lack the crucial element of transformation, purification, and control over intense emotion, the domain of the Phoenix fire.
Which means they can fight demons, they can shield against them, they can generate power, but they can't transform the negative energy. They can't handle the core emotional fuel. The demons are using shame, despair, corrupted passion.
It seems to be their fundamental weakness, the rejection of the demon side, the very thing Rumi carries, the thing Jinwoo exploits. That rejection is the empty phoenix slot. They can't integrate or control that fire because they're trying to pretend it doesn't or shouldn't exist within their perfect protector role.
Wow, so the golden Hanmoon can't ever be truly complete, truly golden, until they figure out how to integrate fire, how to achieve that transformation and control.
Jinwoo is the external corrupted fire they fight. Rumi's shame is the internal repressed fire she fights. Their inability to field a phoenix means they lack the mythological tool set to deal with either effectively.
The irony. A system for ultimate protection is weakest against the most powerful human emotions because it's missing the very element meant to manage them. That's quite the setup.
What?
Hashtag tag outro. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, it feels pretty clear that KpopDemonHunters isn't just throwing cool myths around. It's using this ancient Four Guardian system with incredible precision.
Absolutely. The Huntrix trio lines up almost perfectly with the tiger, the tortoise, and the dragon, their powers, their personalities, their struggles. It all maps onto those Western, Northern, and Eastern archetypes: metal, water, and wood.
Their fight to keep the Golden Hanmoon stable isn't just about fighting off the Saja Boys' catchy tunes. It's like a literal cosmic struggle to maintain the integrity of this four-directional system, even though they're fundamentally handicapped.
Yeah, they're trying to hold up the sky with only 3 pillars. That missing southern pillar, the fire element, the phoenix, that's the gaping wound.
The Hanmoon is weak because their system is incomplete. They lack fire control.
And that really becomes the central mystery for you as a fan watching the show. How do they fix that? How do they complete the circle? The Hanmoon and maybe the world depends on them solving the riddle of the missing vermilion bird.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to chew on. We know Rumi feels like a mistake because of her demon blood, her internal fire. And Jinwoo, the corrupted fire, keep telling her hope is pointless, leaning into that shame.
Right. But the phoenix is the ultimate symbol of rebirth, rising from the ashes, turning destruction into new life. It masters fire.
And didn't the transcript say Rumi's voice, her core power, only started to heal when she was finally brutally honest with Jinwoo about her own complexity, her own internal conflict, when she kind of acknowledged the fire within?
That's a very interesting point.
So here's the question. Does Huntrix need to find some external fourth member, some literal phoenix figure, to join the group and complete the set? Or is the true path forward for Rumi herself to stop fighting the tiger metal part against the fire demon part and instead find a way to integrate them? Could she be the key to embodying and controlling that missing fire element, finally completing the Four Guardians from within?